Welcome to this tutorial on what's new in Desire to Learn version 10.2 for instructors. So, as you can see, the My Home area here has changed quite a bit in this version of Desire to Learn. As you can see, we're now able to add some lovely background images here to the home area. You'll also see some images within the My Course area once we log into a course. So the first thing I want to talk about is something called the Desire to Learn mini bar. So the mini bar is just the gray bar here at the top of the page. And so the first thing here is the My Home. So one thing to keep in mind about the mini bar is it does follow you wherever you are in the system. So if you're in a course in discussions or whatever, you're always going to have access to it. So the My Home button here brings us right back here to the home page where our courses are listed. Now select a course. This is a really handy feature within this new version of Desire to Learn. And what it does is it allows you to select any of the courses that you're currently enrolled in from anywhere in the system. So if I'm in, for example, discussions, I'll be able to have access to this. So what you can do is you can actually go on and you'll notice here there's this little orange thing right inside of what's called a pin. So what you can do is you can select any of these courses, and what you can do is you can pin courses. So what happens is when you pin them, the courses that you pin will always be the first ones that show up when you select this select a course option. So if I teach 4 courses this semester, I would go and pin those 4 courses. So that way, when I go under this to select a course, then they'll be the ones that always show up within the first few here that are listed. All right, so over here we've got our messages alert. So this first one, if I just click on that, what it'll do is if we get any emails, as an instructor, if you got any emails, or for example, there's a pager tool in Desire to Learn, if anybody ever paged you, those notifications would show up here. And what they'd look like is it would just be a little red circle here letting you know that you have that message. And that's one of the reasons why we've gone with this kind of a gray color for the mini bar background, is because we found that with the gray, the red notification alert really shows up, so you can easily and quickly identify when you have new messages. The updates alert here, what this does is, for example, I've got one, welcome to D2L version 10.2. This is a news item that's posted, so any news items for your courses or news items that we create, for example, would show up here. And for the students, so if you, the instructor, created a news posting, it would show up right here in just a red circle. So it allows the students to get these news items from wherever they are. So as an instructor, if you create something in one course and your student is in another course, well, they'll get that notification right away and they'll know that you've updated, the news posting. So that if, for example, you got to cancel class last minute, it's a great little thing to go on, create your news posting, and the students will instantly get that notification right there. And the subscriptions alerts. So what this does is if you're a student or instructor and you partake in the discussion tool in Desire to Learn, what you can do is you can subscribe to discussion postings. And so if you did subscribe to any discussion postings, anytime a new user would go on and post to the topic that you're subscribing to or the forum that you're subscribing to, you'll get those notifications right here. And then we'll go on under our individual names, and what you can do is you can access your profile information, notifications, any of your account settings that you probably or possibly want to change. And so if you wanted to add a picture or anything like that, you could go under your profile and change it. If you wanted to forward, your Desire to Learn email to a personal email account, you could change that under your account settings. There's a log out option here. Just watch out for that, because what happens is oftentimes when you log out, it'll seemingly say that you've logged out of Desire to Learn. However, it doesn't successfully log you out of the UMB portal. So just make sure that when you use this logout feature, that you also remember to go in and log out of the portal, especially if you're on a public computer, because if another user comes in and goes on to the My UMB area, you'll still be logged in, so they'll be able to access your account information. So please just remember to log out of the portal as well. And so you'll notice as well that we've gone from a 3 widget system on the home page to a 2 widget system. And the reason for that is because you'll notice over here we've got all of our profile information available under your name. So there was no need to have that user profile on the left-hand side of the screen here. And we've got our My Courses widget here where all of our courses are listed. The UMB news and announcements here. This was in the same spot in the previous version. Again, please keep your eye on this because this is where the admins will go on and post in all of the, for example, outage information, updates, where to find help, anything like that. Little reminders. So just keep your eye on that. And then just below that's the calendar. So any upcoming events or anything is going to be available there. And so in this new version, you can see D2L. We have a test course here that I've done. So your courses are going to be set up, and they're going to be set as inactive. And anytime you see inactive, it just means that the students do not have access. So this is where you'd have to go on and open it up to the students. So maybe we'll start with that. We'll go inside of our D2L test course. And we'll go inside here. And so to activate your course for your students, you would just go on, and again, it's just under this edit course button as it was in the previous version. So you would just go under edit course, and then there was this course offering information right here. We can scroll down to the page and just check off this little box down here that says course is active. And once we select that, we can also put in start and end dates for our courses as we could in the previous version. Just keep in mind that if you do set an end date, after the end date passes, the students will no longer have access to the course. So some students or instructors will set their end date as the last day of classes, but if you require your students to go on and get information on the course for study purposes for the exam, and you want them to access it after the last day of classes, just make sure that you set the end date as the last day of exams, for example. And we'll just press the save button. And perfect. So when we go back under our My Home page here, we can see that this D2L test course no longer says inactive. It's open for the students. So once you no longer see that inactive, you know that it is open for the students to view. So I'm going to click back on it to go back inside. And so again, we're just going to look at a few of the changes here within the home page area. So we've got our background images here, which is a little different. And we've got our course home button here, our content as it was before. One of the great new things with this version of Desire to Learn is they've gone on and they've added these drop-down menus for their tools. So what this does is it allows us to add more tools to the course homepage and keep it a little more clean and organized. So for example, under assessments, if I click this, it'll show our Dropbox assignments, our grades, quizzes, rubrics, self-assessments. Under the communication, this is where we're going to go to find chat, class list, discussions, email, groups. You can go directly to the news tool. So that would be under that area. And then under the resources, there'll be links to content which we can actually get to over here. Checklist, calendar, frequently asked questions, and there's just some various links here. Your locker. And you've also got your edit course here, and there's going to be the help right here. So if you want any help for Desire to Learn, or where to get to the resources website where we have all of our information, the latest news on D2L at UMB, and there's our Twitter link, the last one here. So that's our navbar area. And you can see that our little navbar image here has changed from the previous version. And we've still got our content browser available right here. So any files that we add to the course, they're going to show up here. We've moved our library resources, as you can see on our My Courses page. We've also gone from a two widget or 3 widget system to a 2 widget page here. So what we've done is we've added our library. So if you do use the library resources widget, that's going to be available here right below the content browser. And we've made our updates. We've moved our updates over to the right-hand side of the page here. And our news, as it was before, is just below that. And we've got our role switch for the instructors to go on and change their role in the calendar. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go in and look at some of the big changes to this version with some of the tools. So the biggest one is going to be under the content here. So if I go under the content button, you're going to see that the content tool here has completely been overhauled, and you're going to love the changes that are going to be made, that have been made to this. So when we go on to create our folders, if you recall in the previous version, we had to go new module and create it and put all of that information in, and it was kind of a bit of a pain. and there was a lot of clicks. Desire to Learn has really minimized the clicks in this new version with the content. So what we can do under the table of contents is I can just go in and title. So if I want to have one called, syllabus, for example, I go on, I type in syllabus, I press enter, and then boom, it goes on and it's created this folder for us titled syllabus. And then if I wanted to create a second module titled course files, I would just type in course files or week 1 files or something like that. You can just type that in, press the enter button, and then boom, it'll create that one. And you can go on and, for example, create another one called web links. So as you can see, it's really, really easy to create your folders now in Desire to Learn. And when you come back into content, you can just go and you can navigate back and forth between the ones that you want to go on and see. If I select just the table of contents here, it's great. It opens up, as you can see here in the middle of the screen, it'll open up all of our folders here in the middle of the screen. So I can go on and I can see it's really, really handy. If I want to go on and for example, you can import and export. So you can import content from other courses. So in the previous version of Desire to Learn, you had to go under your Edit Course button. Well, this allows you to haul in information from the content area of other courses by just pressing this button, which is great. We can do a bulk edit if we wanted to. So if I press that, I can go on and I can go on and basically do a bulk edit of titles of courses. If I wanted to change any of that or delete anything, you can go on and do that. So it's really quite handy. Now for adding files to your course, so if I go under this syllabus link here, maybe, and I want to add a file or folder, and I want to add my syllabus or something like that to this, it's really easy to do. What we can do is if we are using Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome browsers, what it does is it allows us to drag and drop the files from our computer into this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of minimize my screen here a bit. All right, there we go. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to grab the syllabus from my computer, from the desktop of my computer, and I'm going to drag and drop it over here. So as you can see, it's that green color, so I'm just going to let go, and then boom, I'll just expand this, and as you can see, it's added that syllabus just like that. So it's really quick and easy. I can select it right here and go on, and should just take a second. Boom, it opens up the syllabus here in line for us. And so I can go back here under my table of contents. All right, so that's basically the drag and drop method of adding files to your course. And again, that's only available with Mozilla Firefox and Google Chrome browsers. So if you use Safari or you use Internet Explorer or something like that, you can just go under this new button here. I can select the new, and then you can go on, you can upload your file this way. You can also create a file. So if I wanted to create a file for this folder module, you can do that. You can create links. So this would be if you wanted to create a web link, so a link to another website like CNN or CBC or a personal homepage or anything. You can add from manage files. So you can add a file to this folder via the manage files area. And the manage files area is basically where all of your course files are stored. You can create new checklists or discussion. So if you want to create a discussion forum within this folder, you can do that. You can create an assignment, a new quiz, a survey. So there's basically you can do anything that you'd want to create for your course within this area. You can add some various activities if you want to. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to say new and upload files, and if we select the my computer option here, and then right over here we have the upload button. So if I press the upload button here, it'll allow us to go on to our desktop. We can find a file. So for example, week 1 file, I can open that, and then it puts it here into this area, and then I can just press the add button. And as you can see, it's added this week 1 file to this folder. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in and I'm going to select this syllabus folder. One of the things I want to show you is that it says published here. So what this means is that this folder is published and open for the students to view. So that's what published means. If I change this to what's called draft, what draft means is it means that it is hidden. It's hidden. This folder's hidden for the students. Okay, so as you can see under the table of contents here, I see syllabus and I see it's in draft status. So draft status essentially means the students do not have access to it. So when we're ready to open it up for them, we just go and we change it from draft to published. And then you can see at the bottom of the screen we've got this published successfully, so we know that it's now available for our students. The same with files. When you want to go on and you want to do any or hide this file from the student view, what you can do is select this little action button right here next to the syllabus, and I can select edit properties. And what you can do is you can go on and you can just change it from published to draft, and then it'll hide this file from the student view until you're ready to have it shown. And you can add dates and restrictions if you want to too. So if you only want the file to be open for a specific date range, you can select that option there. All right, so these are the major, I guess, changes within the content area. There's a few other things that I'd like to go on and talk about that are really great within this new version. The first one is if we go under the assessments area here, I'm just going to go under the Dropbox. Now, one of the changes I've gone on and I've actually previously created this Dropbox item, so we're not going to go through the process of creating Dropbox items. But one thing I do want to show you is if I go in here into the action menu and press the edit button, under the restrictions tab here, they've now included a due date for the Dropbox. So before there was no due date. So in the previous version there wasn't. So now there is. So it's really a great handy feature that the instructors are going to love. Now, the other thing is if I go under the properties tab here, one of the things that they've included in quizzes and in Dropbox items is a student view preview. So what this does is if I just scroll down a bit, it allows the instructor to set what the students are going to see, the grade that they're going to see. So if I just click this edit display options, what you can do is you can choose what the students are going to see, whether they see the points grade, so the grade out of 20, for example. The grade scheme symbol might be A, B, C, D, or if you created your own grade scheme and you attached colors to it, you could show the student that as well. So it allows the instructor, and if you had a weighted grade, so if you had a weighted system, that option would be on here too. So it allows you as the instructor, when you're setting up your Dropbox items or your quizzes, to select the actual grade item that you want the students to see, so they're not confused if they're seeing 2 or 3 different things. So it's a really, really great new feature. So I'm just going to cancel out of that. The other thing I'm going to talk about is if we go under communication, I want to go under the discussions tool here first, because there are a lot of great changes with discussions. As you can see, I've gone on and I've created this test forum. So one of the really, really nice things that I love about this new version of discussions is that you can go and hide topics. So it makes managing your discussions a lot easier. So before, in the previous version of discussions, you would have 20 topics or something like that, and you would see hundreds and hundreds of postings, and it was just a lot on the page. So now with this new version, you're allowed to go on and hide these. So I can just hide the topics, so it minimizes them all, and so it's really, really quick and easy to hide those or show those or basically view what you want to view. So as you can see here, under the example topic, I have a one unread post. So what I can do is actually click on that one unread post, and it'll bring me in here, and I can see that Donald Duck went on and posted this. So Donald came on and said, "I love the great new features in D2L's discussion tool." So that's perfect. So what we can do is we can click on the message that he created, and what I can do is I can go on and I'm going to reply to the thread. So I can put in something like, "That's great, Donald." So one of the things is that when you are replying now, you are replying in line. You can see the message that was posted above here. So what you can do is you can go on and just press the post option here. You can also add attachments. This is another new feature with Desire to Learn discussions, is that when you go on to add your attachments, you can drag and drop from your computer into this area too. It also holds true in email. So when you are adding email attachments, those are also in the drag and drop area if you're using Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox browsers, and I am using Firefox. And then I can just press the post button. So it makes posting and replying to discussions a lot easier in this latest version. A couple other things that I want to talk about is over here under the settings. If I go under the settings area here, one of the things that Desire to Learn's included is the display deleted posts. So this is a wonderful, wonderful new feature. So if you accidentally delete anything in discussions, you can go and restore that by clicking this display deleted post. So you're always going to be able to view those postings that you may have accidentally deleted for whatever reason. And so if I go back, the other thing is group restrictions here. So I go under this group restrictions tab, and what you can do is you can attach some group restrictions here. If I had any group category created, I can select that here, and then I can select the forum and press save. So what this does is it allows me to take a group within the course and have it so that that particular group is the only one that has access to this forum. So it's another new feature within Desire to Learn here that might come in handy for your course. All right, so that's some of the great changes in the discussions area. The other thing I'm going to go in under communications, and let's just talk about groups for a second, because there is a change with groups. So when I go under the groups tool and I go on to create, for example, a new category. So I'm going to go on and create some new groups. One of the things I just wanted to show you is that they have a new enrollment type under the groups. So this new enrollment type is number of groups of numbers. One of the issues in the previous version of Desire to Learn is that when you had the self-enrollment and you were creating it based on the number of groups. So if I selected this option and I created, for example, 3 groups in the course, what was happening is that, for example, all students could sign up for one group if I set up, the number of groups. So I created 3 groups, every student in the course could sign up for that group. This new option, number of groups of numbers, allows me to put a cap on the number of students that are signing up for this group. So I can set up a number of groups of numbers. So I can say if I want to create 3 groups and I've got 15 students in the class, I want to cap it at 5 students. So once 5 students sign up for that group, no other student can. So this allows you to kind of control how many users are signing up for a group so that not every student signs up for the same group. All right, so that's the one of the great changes with the Dropbox tool. And so what we're going to do now is I'm going to go under the class list tool here. So the final thing here I'm going to talk about before I wrap up is they made some great changes as well to what's called the user progress tool. So if I go in, for example, to Donald Duck and I click on this little action menu next to his name, what I can do is I can go in under his progress. So there's a little link here that says view progress. So if I click on that, it'll just take a second here to load up his information. And what you can do is you can go on and view progress and statistics for various items. So if I had, for example, grades associated or objectives, content, I can go on and see how many topics he's visited, what topics he's visited, how much time, the average time he spent on these topics. Discussion, same thing. I can go on, see how many posts he's read, so how many he's created, unauthored. So it gives me basically statistics for the students on all of the tools and quizzes, checklists, anything within the system. And then there's the login history, so you can go on and check their login history as well, so you can see how many times the students are logging into the course, when they're logging into the course, that kind of information. So it's a really handy thing, and you can view their progress up here for the last 7 days, the last 30 days, or for the duration of the course. So that would be all time. So again, this is a really great and handy new feature within Desire to Learn version 10.2. So if I go back under my course homepage, and then I can go back under my home. And that's about it. So hopefully you'll enjoy the great new changes here in Desire to Learn version 10.2. And I guess this concludes the tutorial on creating items within D2L version 10.2.